Hello, welcome to Scrap Time. My name is Christine, and in this video I am going to talk about organizing and purging my ephemera, and hopefully to give you some hints for you to attack your own pile of ephemera you may own. So I don't have a before picture, but just figure all of this ephemera was just put into this drawer along with some other random items for me to pick through. And back in the day, I liked a bit of chaos. I like to just pick through stuff, but I find as I've gotten older, I need order in my life. So I thought it was time to check out this ephemera, see what I have, what I don't need, and how I can organize it better. And so I'm going to take you through the process of when I first started to pull out all the pieces I no longer wanted. So my first step of purging was getting rid of some things I knew I would never use. I know going forward, I'll probably just be making cards and tags, maybe an art journal page. And that's about all I'm currently really doing. So anything that was sort of Halloween themed. I don't do anything for Halloween. So I wanted to pull out anything that was remotely Halloween. The other thing was anything that was really thick and dimensional. I knew I wouldn't want to add onto my projects. Then really big images that I'm not drawn to. There's no way I'm going to be using any of this on anything I make. And then on the other side, really tiny things. They're just too small. I don't do bottles or anything. So all these really tiny things were just too small for how I craft. And then big images too that are full on. You would use this as sort of a focal point. Again, this one's Halloween in that. If they weren't focal points I would want to add to my projects, then I knew I wouldn't use them. So these were the types of things I initially, as I was pulling the ephemera out of my drawer, pulling out and putting into a bag to get rid of. So then the next thing I wanted to do was divide things by size. So I had small, medium, large. I had flowers, botanicals, butterflies. I found some Christmas stuff mixed in. And so I separated them, and then from there pulled out ones I knew I wouldn't want. So some of these flowers, they're just too big for the way I craft, and some were just way too small. This butterfly, it's probably a moth, I wasn't fully drawn to. I knew I would never add it on, same as a bug. There are some really big numbers that I wasn't fond of. I separated all my Christmas out of this initial. And then anything that had sort of photos of real people, these were strips I cut off because I don't like to add people I don't know onto my projects. It's just a personal thing. And so anything, once I separated it into the groups, I went through the groups and I just pulled out more of the things that I knew I wouldn't use. So once I had all my piles of the different botanicals, bugs, leaves, small, medium, large, these here are typically full-size items like this, and then my oversized items, I want to find a way to organize it. And so I'd gone to a store we have here called Kitchen Stuff Plus, and I wanted to ideally just get some plastic containers that would fit in this. But I found out they were the same height, so when I put them in, they would come above. So then I found some different soap containers. And so I got this one that's a little higher but smaller, and then this one here that's shorter but had a nice square area to hold some different ephemera. I had taken ephemera with me, so I knew the size I would need. And I took this drawer with me. And so I was able to get enough containers that sort of sat within the drawer, and within each container would hold different elements. And I was very happy. I got it and I put it all in. And then I continued to organize, and guess what happened? I bet you can guess. I found more stuff. So one thing I found were these sort of film strips. And so for those, I just decided I would add them in. This was something I had just stamped, and so I just have to cut it out, but I thought I still wanted to keep those, so I kept those. A couple little tags or that. And then I found another pack of ephemera and went, you know what? I have ephemera. Do I need this pack? No. So I decided I'm not even going to open it. I'm going to just put it in my pile to get rid of. Then I found a transparent pack. And again, I went, okay, yeah, no, we're just going to do that. Then I found another pack and I'm like, I can't even. And then I found another pack, and you get the idea of where this is going. I'm like, I was happy. I have all this ephemera. I have it organized. And so I'm like, no, no, moving out. Then I found this book, and ideally I should tear these up and add them in. And I'm just not sure yet if I'm going to do that or not. If I'm just going to leave it the way I have here, or if I need more. But this is the thing, as you come across more and more, you have to decide when is too much. I'll never use this ephemera. You know, like I'm getting up there in years. I've got many years ahead of me still, but how much ephemera can somebody use in their life? So anyway, I'm like, nope, all of these, I'm just going to put them in my get rid of pile. And I'm going to stick with what I have here. Now, I haven't fully completed cleaning. Who knows what else I'm find, but I'm going to stick with what I have, I think. Now, you may be asking yourself, but what happened to that Christmas ephemera? You had some Christmas ephemera. Well, I decided it didn't need to be with everyday ephemera because I only use it at Christmas. So when I travel, I like to get tins. And so this was some cookies we got from Belgium. And so I use these tins and you open it up and I now have a Christmas tin. So in here I've got some Merry Christmas little tape, some little ribbonish stuff, some more tapes with Christmas stuff, candy canes, more little fringe, some little shiny add-ons, some shiny papers, and all my Christmas ephemera. And so for this one, I just put it in plastic bags, but I did divide it into sort of like small pieces, medium and large, to make it a little easier. And then I had these pieces that I had cut out myself and kept. So I just put those aside too that I can add to Christmas projects. So I ended up just making a Christmas tin. So when I go to make Christmas cards, I have everything in one place, but I'm not coming across it in my everyday crafting. If I want to make just a birthday tag or a random tag or whatever I'm doing, I'm not having to pile through all my Christmas supplies to do so. And so just by getting a little tin, Christmas is done. And so that is my ephemera journey recently. I hope some of this information helped you. And we will see you next time on our next episode of Scrap Time.